California.
Oh.
You know, Californication. Red Hot Chili Peppers, when they came out with that song, who didn't want to be part of To Live and Die in LA? Show the screen here. We got show the people out here, guys, on the wide shot. Listen, we're all from different sides of the world, but California, Matt, you're from LA. What an amazing place it was. All right? I spent some time in LA. I'm a Miami guy. At a certain phase in my life, I said, Miami is the best place to live 9 months out of the year. I'd spent a month in Europe, a month in New York, and a month in LA, and it was amazing. But when you're a tourist, it's a lot different. But I didn't really start going and finding out about LA until I started really being with Valuetainment, and PBD, who's from LA, and he's like, oh yeah, you wanna see what's going on in LA? Let me tell you the reasons I moved out of LA. Let's start with 13% taxes, okay? Regulation, homelessness, crime, drama, everything that's going on. Silicon Valley, okay, they're making money. Hollywood making money, everything else, cost of living. But then you start to see the stories that are happening out of LA, and nobody's gonna be a better person to talk about on this. Here's the story. California lost track of $24 billion spent to combat homelessness. You can put this up, Malik. A recent California audits report reveals that the state lost track of $24 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, if you lose 24 million, okay, red alert, amber alert, 24 billion, okay? That's a quarterly check that we're cutting to fund a war in Ukraine.
Like
there
what?
it is right there. California spent 24 billion on homelessness, and it can't measure the impact. So they spent this money 5 years ago to address homelessness. So they spent this money, yet the homeless problem has gotten worse. The lead auditor, Grant Parks, emphasized the lack of sufficient data to prove the fund's efficacy in improving the crisis, saying that the state, quote unquote, has not collected sufficient data. Really? You spent $24 billion, lost, don't have any data. The audit criticized the California Interagency Council on Homelessness for its failure to consistently track and evaluate the state's efforts in combating homelessness. It noted that it has not aligned its action plan to end homelessness with its statutory goals to collect financial information. I'm just seeing a bunch of fucking big words here, but no accountability. Matt, you're a lawyer. You know what's going on. What the hell's going on in California and in LA specifically?
A lot of dysfunction, and it's dysfunction that unfortunately doesn't have any electoral consequences. That's the problem. They can keep on getting away with this type of mismanagement, this type of waste, because it's such one-party domination by the Democratic Party in the state of California, and not something that's easy to turn around, because you have all these political organs, all the institutions that have the mailing list that mail out to voters, or the unions that might donate to certain candidates. This whole Borg, right, that is nearly impossible to overwhelm. Like even the smartest, Eric Weinstein, great guy. Yeah, Eric Weinstein even says, hey, if I ran against Adam Schiff for senator, everybody knows I'm exponentially smarter, more capable than Adam Schiff. I'm losing because the machine's on his side, right? So when you have the machine that is this powerful in one direction, it allows you to get away with a lot of dysfunction. On the homelessness issue specifically, to tell the real story about what's going on in California, you have to look at the trajectory over the last 30 years. Because here's the thing, early 90s, there was a lot of crime, a lot of homelessness, worse than we have it right now. Then around 1994, both those things start to go down, and they keep going down.
That's
for
when
20
OJ
years.
did his thing,
yeah,
94.
Yeah.
We know, I don't know
OJ,
if that's the reason.
It all tracks back to OJ. But either way, in the early 90s, people in California, across races, across different parts of the city said, you know something, we're fucking done with this. We need to attack homelessness and crime and be unforgiving about it, because it's going to make life better for everybody. You want to know something? It worked. Look at the violent crime rate and the homelessness population in California from 1994 to 2014. It plummets, right? Around 2014 is when this kind of strange virus of wokeism and radical progressivism that had been discussed, because it wasn't Republicans presiding over California during that phase. It was all Democrats, guys like Antonio Villaraigosa, who are not the sharpest tool in the shed, but they were not crazy, right? All of a sudden, 2014, legislation like Prop 47, which was called the Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act, but was really about decriminalizing theft under $950 and letting about 33,000 prisoners out of jail. Yeah, that's how it works out there. So we started to throw away all the things we learned from that 20-year period that we cleaned up. Los Angeles had the lowest crime rate of any city in America with more than 2 million residents in 2013. Not kidding. We solved it all.
Who was the governor in 2013?
It was Jerry Brown. Once, but it's a little.
That's after Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, but crime's more localized on the county and city level, particularly with Los Angeles County, biggest county in America, 10 million residents. But we just accepted, and it wasn't just contrary to what people might say. It wasn't just in nice parts of town. Beverly Hills and Brentwood got safer. Compton and Inglewood got safer. Ain't no coffee shops and nice little cafes in Inglewood and Compton back in 1994. Got safer for everybody. But since then, the strain of progressivism that wants to that says we can't enforce the law, we can't be as unforgiving with criminals, and we can't regulate public spaces for homelessness the way that we did when we solved it, because that's unfair, that's too mean, and we're imposing on the civil rights and the lifestyle of people who are criminalizing poverty and things of that nature. Well, explain to me why from 2008 to 2010, with the greatest recession we've had since the Great Depression, crime and homelessness went down, right? Was it because of financial circumstances, or is it because we just didn't accept it? Everybody who's thinking knows the answer.
So, by the way, awesome answer.
Thank you.
Where the hell's this $24 billion, man?
It's incinerated, man. It's incinerated. It's not just that on the local level. LA, once we started noticing homelessness was getting bad in 2014 and 15, 2016, we passed Measure 888. The voters voted on this. They said, you know something? We're going to give the people running this county and this city $1.1 billion in additional tax dollars to solve the homelessness problem. That money is gone, incinerated. If you go look at the budget, you'll go see these stupid little groups like Citizens for a Greater LA or the Koreatown Street Project, and you'll go see here's $80,000 for them, here's $200,000 for them, and they're supposed to do stuff like homelessness outreach or research into lifestyle transitional periods for homeless people, and it's all gone. They incinerated it, and they keep on coming back on the next election cycle and said, rich people need to pay more, because if we just get more money from rich people, we can solve the homelessness crisis, even though the last $1 billion that we spent was incinerated. That's what's happening.
Okay, awesome. Now, one more thing. And then I want to understand what the hell's going on in New York, because you live in New York, and maybe you can kind of give us a little context to that city that was, in my opinion, the greatest American city of all time, not LA, New York, and I want to know what's going on there. But, the foundation of really what Valuetainment talks about is capitalism. And not just capitalism, free market capitalism. The foundation of that is having competition, having private ownership, having not the government control, having options, having a choice. You said that just, it's blue. There's a couple little red pockets right there, maybe in Bakersfield or in Fresno, I don't know. But like Gavin Newsom, everyone knows, just sleazy, slick salesman, can talk his way out of anything. But the proof is in the pudding. He debated DeSantis. DeSantis had every single thing. Bing, 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 bing. He's like, yeah, but abortion. Everyone's like, okay, Newsom, I guess, won this. I actually watched the debate with a girl, a friend of mine, and I was like, I want you to actually watch this debate. Because I knew, I'm like, how is Gavin Newsom going to win this debate? How? Look at what's going on in California versus look at what's going on in Florida. We watched the debate. DeSantis, he's like, you have to understand the homelessness and the economy and the taxes and the regulation. He busted out a fucking poop map. He's like, this is what's going on, okay? And then he called out DeSantis on the 6-week abortion thing, all right? And I said at the end of the thing, that was part of it, I said, who do you think won the debate? She goes, I think the guy with the slick hair, I think I'd vote for him. I said, what about every single point that the other guy won? She said, I don't really know. So the average voter is just voting on emotion, voting on personality. So I don't know what the hell's going on with this woke progressive agenda. I used to get in fights with my California friends. They're like, how the hell could you possibly vote for a Democrat? Because people know that my friends are with the Clinton stuff. I was very tied in with that world at one point. Now they won't even talk to me. But I said, I don't see this in Florida. I don't even know about this woke blue hair trans agenda. But my point is this. We had Larry Elder on the podcast. Sharp, smart. He was part of the recall effort against Newsom. Got blown out of the water. Everyone's like, it's fraud. How did he not win? I'm like, it's California, bro. How do you reverse the change here in California.
Yeah, you've got to chip away piece by piece. That's it. Everyone thinks there's a magic bullet, like one election is going to turn around. No, you have to chip away. For instance, one of the positive developments, this is the blueprint. LA City Council is very powerful. It's more powerful than the mayor's powerful, but the LA City Council is more powerful than people think. For instance, one district in Venice, newly gentrified, high visibility district these days, ton of homelessness. The city council person who covered that territory, a guy named Mike Bonin, who once was homeless and pretty much thinks anyone deserves to be homeless and you can't bother them or tell them to get out of public spaces. Anyways, that had predictable results. We tried, once again, it was a Democrat running against him, but we supported a woman named Tracy Park, who is a non-crazy Democrat, who is more reflective of the Democrats who ran the city in 2000.
I love how you have to preface it with like a non-crazy Democrat.
Yeah. She thinks like, okay, maybe the California Venice boardwalk should not be filth and disgusting. So we won that race. You have to continually pick off one here, one there, and wait for the circumstances to be correct. Rick Caruso, I'm pretty sure, is going to run for governor in 2026, which could.
He's the one that ran for mayor and lost?
Yeah, but he announced 4 months before the election. Okay. I'm like, bro. Anyways, I could get into what he knows. A few things he did wrong. There's no good successor to Gavin Newsom from the Democratic Party. Rick now has some knowledge, he's a public figure and he has a lot of money, so he could win that race, right? So you have to pick out one here and one there, and it's going to take a while to turn around. That's just the reality.
Whoa. If you like that one, click right here to watch the full SOSCAST, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.